Today is Tuesday, June 7th. Happy National Chocolate Ice Cream Day. I'm going to take a look at commodities today because I wrote a column about gold yesterday. Let's talk about commodities in general and then we'll move on to gold and silver. This is the Bloomberg Commodities Index and really only started trading or being distributed late 2014. But you can see the declining trend. And let's zoom in a little bit. There's the bottom in January and then the nice rising trend since that time. Just draw some trend lines here. Definitely could draw one from the bottom. You could also draw a steeper one from here. And because of the steeper one, you can see it's kind of away from that line, possibly overbought. RSI is not really in overbought territory, but it's close enough where you'd say, well, I'm not going to rush in here. But anyway, the trend is definitely to the upside. Let's just get rid of that. Oops. I'll do that and get rid of that. All right, let's talk about these moving averages. These form the bow tie indicator. It's really a set of three averages, the 10-day simple, 20-day expo, and the 30-day expo. And the point is when they all cross together, they leave a bow tie pattern on the chart. And if we zoom in a little bit, that'll make you dizzy. You can see they kind of all apart, converge here, and then they all diverge away, kind of like a bow tie shape. False alarm here, that didn't cross. You can see it's just nice proper order with price above longer, above middle, above shortest moving average. So it's a nice short-term rally in place for sure. And so far so good. Alright, now I'm going to go to gold. Let's look at the GLD. I'll explain the blue in a little bit. And actually I'm going to switch chart types here. Get rid of that. Alright, so we have the gold ETF. This is on balance volume here. You can see a nice surge, reverse the trend. Now it's holding up here, so there's nothing special happening with on balance volume. It's doing pretty much what it should be doing, which is following price. Price relative, this is just price versus the S&P 500. Not a whole lot of information here because we're talking about commodities versus stocks. I think if you look at this kind of indicator in a weekly or monthly view, then you get an asset type of rotation thing. So let's just get rid of that. So let's talk about what we see here. We have the 50-day and the 100-day, 200-day moving average. Here's the 200-day nice starting to curve higher, which is pretty positive. And then you have this rally here into a sideways pattern. And you could argue that this is a double top. And if you do say that, then it failed. It failed to break down because you could see it popped higher over here. So a failed bearish pattern is bullish. Now let's zoom out. We'll see what these lines are. Actually, I'm going to go into weekly format. And forgive me, there's going to be a lot of data in there, and labels, which we don't need. So forget the averages for now because they're really for the daily chart. So I wanted to show a Fibonacci retracement set for this entire bear market. And a 38.2% retracement brings you about to this early 2014 peak over here. And for the gold futures market, that's roughly 1400. So there's a little way to go there. It's a nice little upside. I'm not forecasting anything past that at this time. So gold looks decent, bouncing off this support level on the failed double top. Now I'm going to go into the daily again and switch to silver. And you can see the same sort of action, breakout and a test of that breakout. This line is kind of fuzzy. You want to draw it here. You want to draw it here or here to capture those bottoms. I think if you're looking at a resistance, you want to look at highs. So it's somewhere in there. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. Because what I see here is either a rounding bottom or possibly an inverted head and shoulders bottom with a breakout and a test. But bottom line is I think that the technicals line up for higher prices, not lower here on silver. So you got the whole metals complex, I think, doing well. Commodities in general appear to be in a rising trend. So it's a good thing for metals, possibly for all commodities. I will say that I think that the oil rally probably has hit a temporary ceiling for a while. But other than that, I think commodities are actually looking pretty decent.